Warning. The following video is made up primarily of jokes and overgeneralizations. If I insult you in any way, I probably do not mean it. Please do not get angry in the comments. On second thought, do. It improves the algorithm, and I need more views. Nintendo. You're constantly making fun of their terrible business decisions, but if anyone insults them in any minor capacity, you immediately get defensive and start plotting your revenge. Sony. You're probably the most chill out of the big three fanatics. You probably own at least one other console, and generally don't get that angry at people for not agreeing with you. Or you're like a COD fan or something, but you know. Microsoft. You're stupid and annoying and wrong and perpetuate the stereotype, and you suck and I hate you. Or you're my uncle. He's cool. Sega. You live a constant life of sadness, but right now you have false hope because they released a good ad before inevitably in a few years it'll be a divisive 7 out of 10 with recency bias, another disappointingly mediocre game with vision, perpetually another step in the right direction for the series, before you get excited for the next announcement, never having time to stop looking back and realizing the only good games your company has made in the last 15 years were either jokes or made by a fan with more ability to realize their ambitions for a series than the people who've developed its games for the last 40 years. Activision Blizzard. At least Sega cares. Epic Games. You have about the same taste as the Microsoft fanboys, but you're also either 9 years old or make content for 9-year-olds, so I don't judge you quite as much. Mojang Studios. You're the same demographic as I described for the Epic Games fans, but with better taste. Ubisoft. You're a bad person, but still have solid taste in games. Just happens to be a taste you don't change very often. Valve. I hate you, but you're right. Electronic Arts. You don't actually like Madden. You're also more suggestible than you let on with your outwardly jerk alpha personality. Either that or you're just a really big fan of Jedi Fallen Order, which I guess I respect. Square Enix. You really like Final Fantasy and hate every other game they've made in the last 20 years. Capcom. You either really love Monster Hunter or really wish they would make something else. SNK. I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. Arc System Works. You're one friend I have, and probably no one else. Every other fighting game fan who isn't a bad person or a big fan of Tekken goes with Street Fighter, which, yes, I do understand is also made by Capcom. It's still mostly Monster Hunter. Bandai Namco. You're a big fan of either Elden Ring or Pac-Man. You're also probably at least 30 years old. From Software. You're a big fan of Elden Ring and not Pac-Man. You're at least 22. Wait, they made Elden Ring, right? Yeah. Oh, I just found out, Bandai Namco doesn't own Elden Ring anymore. So that's cool. I guess Bandai Namco fans are just fans of Pac-Man. Riot Games. Ha! Lol. Wait, is that actually why it's called that? Bethesda. You really hate Bethesda. Retro Studios. Adrift in the blinding darkness, you wait for what seems like infinity for it to arrive. Team Cherry. Same story as the previous one. Taito. There's a 50% chance you're Becky Heineman. The other 50% is that guy who dresses up as Bub from Bubble Bobble for the official promotional YouTube channel. And that's assuming it's Becky Heineman's favorite game company just because she won a Space Invaders tournament 40 years ago. Camelot. You wish Mario sports games were as good as they used to be when they were literally exactly the same as they are now, but it was okay because the hardware was less powerful. IREM. I don't know what IREM does. id Software. You're at least 30 years old, and think every Doom game besides the first one is terrible and a disgrace to the series, besides maybe 2016. Okay, and Eternal. And Next Level Games. I am here to remind you that Mario Strikers Battle League exists. I'll give you a moment. There you go. It's not healthy to repress memories like that, you know? Konami. 9 years later, you're still in denial. He's gone, and your company has terrible values. They haven't made a good game in 10 years, and you know it. You've just followed them for so long you'd feel empty not to. So you're content in what's essentially an abusive relationship with a company that only ever cared because of an employee who left a decade ago, and likely will never care again. Amazon Game Studios. Those were some good cashews. What were we talking about again? Kojima Productions. You're confused all of the time and believe it to be a good thing. It means you're enlightened to the secrets of the universe or something. You also really hate Konami. Rare. Every time you say this to someone new, they pat you on the back and apologize. It's been like this for 22 years and it's only just starting to get annoying. You also either really hate Star Fox Adventures and Star Fox Zero and Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, or you adore all three. Jalico. You enjoy mediocre games with good music. Or mediocre games with no music. Like that one SNES beat-em-up that I don't remember the name of, but I think I maybe beat one time. THQ Nordic. You always forget the Nordic is part of it. You're also consistently confused why half their games are really good and all the others are low-budget cash grabs. I mean, how can the same studio publish Ori and the Blind Forest and Rad Rogers? Rockstar Games. You're between the age of 12 to 16 and don't listen to ESRB ratings. Or you're Doug, but we all know he's a 13-year-old on the inside. Larian Studios. Good game. Good game. And I can't even make fun of you, 'cause you have good taste and you're a good person. LucasArts. You've been sad for the last 11 years, and believe one of the Force Unleashed games is twice as good as the other one for all the same reasons everyone else seems to like the other one better. Magnavox. You really hate Nolan Bushnell. Fairchild. You really hate Nolan Bushnell. Atari. You really love Nolan Bushnell. And Adventure. And Yar's Revenge. And you think Atari Pac-Man is the worst piece of media ever created. You're also at least 50, because I refuse to believe there are any Atari Jaguar kids out there. HAL Laboratory. You really like Kirby? Either that or you still think Sakurai works there. Sora. You realize Sakurai left HAL Laboratory. There's also a 90% chance you don't like Fire Emblem. Atlas. You really like Persona a lot? And probably not Shin Megami Tensei, but if you do, you really hate the Persona fans. Toby Fox. There's a 95% chance you're not as toxic as people think you are. The other 5% either use a lot of character AI, or make lots of digital art. Extremely okay games. You're a good person with good taste in video games. Aspire. You've always been a big fan of Star Wars Episode 1 Racer for the Nintendo 64, but you never bothered to look up the name of the developer, and every other piece of technology you had accidentally blew up 22 years ago, and this was the first game you bought when you got a Switch, so you're oblivious to the fact that graphics have improved. Traveler's Tales. You're either a child, a speedrunner, or the LOLOLO letter guy. Or you just haven't played a video game since 2009. Sunsoft. It's mostly because of the music. Scott Games. You're either 9 years old, or retiring in 2 months. Or you're like the Joker from that one scene and just like to watch the world burn. Yacht Club Games. You like pretending you're old, but you're actually like 19. East Asia Soft. This is an in-joke that you probably won't get, but this company is really funny. Data Design Interactive. That's pretty funny, but I do hope you chose an actual answer before watching the whole video before this. Sabic Limited. You wanted to play a Popeye game, but really hate Nintendo for some reason and have a taste for the truly artful. Fantastic. Not so fantastic anymore. Daedalic Entertainment. Not so Daedalic anymore. Arcane Studios. Not so... Okay, that really doesn't make sense. You get the idea. They made a bad game last year. David A. Palmer Productions. You have a penchant for the very best of adaptations. You thought the 3D effects were kind of cool in Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones for the Game Boy Advance, and haven't played a video game since. You were simply that floored. Or that underwhelmed. You were expecting to have to make a blasphemously angry comment that I missed your favorite company, but I remembered you. I remember everything. Except Bethesda and Camelot and Rare and Irem and Jalico and THQ and Atlas and Larian, I forgot to write them in until I was basically done with the script. And that's every major game developer I could think of, besides the developer of Vampire Survivors, because I couldn't think of anything interesting to say about the developer of Vampire Survivors. If I missed your company, please let me know in the comments, and I'll try to be sure to respond with a roast and or compliment. And as I said before, please make sure you get very angry at me in the comments. It would really help out the channel if you did. Thank you for watching, salutations, and have yourself a 97 on Metacritic of a day.